I'm Gerald Bentley. This is LVWS Confidential. Today, we are going to go a little Lucha Libre style with Principe Leon, the only current Las Vegas based luchador competing regularly in the Las Vegas wrestling scene. Leon, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, man.
Pretty sure you're the first luchador to be on the show. We've had on Diana Sandoval, who had a run-in with you on local TV, but no Lucha Libre yet. What brings you into the wrestling rings in Las Vegas?
Just everything, the atmosphere, it's the fans, just everything in Vegas is just showtime.
Now, how long have you been wrestling?
Funny about that, it's since the pandemic started, actually,
Really?
2019
Okay.
ish,
Uh-huh.
in September 2019.
Wow. Okay. So just really recently getting involved, and that's a story that's come up a few times. What was it about the pandemic that got you going? Is this something you've wanted to do for a long time, and when everything was shut down, did that create the opportunity?
Yes. So what happened was like, pandemic, nobody can go out or whatever,
Yeah.
and I had a at the time I was already seeing a lot of independent wrestling in Vegas, which was Big Valley Wrestling. Versus was barely starting up. We had FSW, we had
Hmm.
Simbodi's Lucha Libre stuff going on, and I got interested after I started seeing a show, and then the pandemic hit. So then all that stopped, and I got with my wife, and I was like, "Hey, I'm kind of going crazy just being at home."
Yeah.
She's all like, "Okay, so what do you want to do?" I was like, "Well," I saw that they're building this ring at someone's backyard. She goes, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh well, if you're really serious about it, like, why don't you go try it?" I was like, "Sure, why not? Let me ask." I actually hit up Ricky Tenacious about it, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on with the school? I see you guys have a ring," and then it started from there.
That is really unusual because a lot of times when I'm talking to people, it's, "Hey, I started watching wrestling when I was 8. Started watching when I was 10." We just had on Bodie, the young prodigy. He started taking classes at 9. Now,
He's
was
phenomenal.
yeah, was pro wrestling something you had wanted to do, something you had followed, or was it just kind of out of the blue when the pandemic hit? You said, "Hey, I got to do something. Let's go."
So back in the days, I used to, I'm from California originally,
Hmm.
so single mother and all that. So we had a every Sunday I would get to watch TV, and for
Okay.
some reason, like Lucha Libre was always on at our house Sundays. So I would turn it on, watch it, and I got interested in it, and then I started seeing that WWE, WCW, and all that. So I started watching little by little, grew up, came to Vegas, and I was more into WWE instead of WCW, ECW. Like everybody, everybody's always was watching different programs. I was just
Sure.
WWE. It was the Attitude Era, so I was just stuck on that. So I didn't even pay attention to WCW, to be honest with you. And well, I didn't even know nothing about being an independent scene, to be honest with you, until I
Sure.
saw a flyer from that they were gonna Juventud Guerrera was gonna be here. I was like, oh, I remember watching him with the Mexicools and WWF at the time. I think it
Hmm.
was. I was like, oh, I want to go see him because he was, one of the big stars, especially because he was Mexican. So I was like, all
Sure.
right, cool. I went out there, and then this other wrestler, some the other luchador caught my eye, which was Mariachi Loco, and I was like, who the heck is this guy? And then from there, I just try to like I said before, like I started stalking him a little bit, and I was like, hey, like, where you from? This, and that, and then he was really humble and cool with me, and he would write back to me and be like, oh, I'm from California, blah blah blah. So, and then I was like, so where do you wrestle normally? He goes, it's indie scene, so it's just everywhere, wherever we can get at. I was like, oh. And then I started realizing there was more other than just WWE at the time. So I was like,
Sure.
oh, let me start watching this, because he actually brought that little fire back in me about wrestling, because it died a little bit at a certain point because those storylines were kind of like
Hmm.
PG era and all that. So when I started seeing this guy, I was like, oh, I definitely need to catch up on him and who he is and figure out whatever I can from this guy.
Yeah, I don't think it was just with you. I think really almost the whole country, it kind of died a little bit, right? And now you're seeing this rebirth, this renewal of pro wrestling with independent circuits going everywhere and some of the independent circuits coming together to form territories like there used to be. And now with the internet, which shows really shows like this all around the country, you can just dive down the rabbit hole as deep as you want to go and watch hours of pro wrestling literally every day.
Yeah,
And
like I
that's
said,
just America.
yeah, I used to live in California. I didn't even know we had other little shows there. It was just me locking in every, what was it, Monday, Friday, just watching Raw, SmackDown, and then, sometimes, when, like I said, I had a single mother, no
Sure.
internet, I mean, no cable, so I had to watch what I could. The internet wasn't really popular at the time.
Hmm.
Only, the rich at the time can have it. It wasn't accessible to everybody. So, yeah.
So, what has it been like getting in there and competing, getting into the ring? Because, you're starting out at a disadvantage with only a couple of years of experience now.
I honestly, I can say I love it. I mean, at the
Okay.
beginning, like I said it before, my wife was kind of like the one that pushed me to this. Like she goes, "Try it, just go ahead and do it." She goes, "But just don't come home crying that your back hurts and this, and that." So I was like, "All right, I gotta give me a little bottle of ibuprofen or something or painkillers." But nah, um, it's just been fun. Like every person I get to meet, every person I get to share the ring with has been phenomenal with me. Like everybody's been like real humble, so I'm grateful for that.
Now, did you have an athletic background going in, or was this just
I
starting from scratch?
I guess you. Well, I mean, I did a lot of sports, so whatever
Okay.
sport I was in, like I did soccer for a lot of years, but I played basketball. I would go to the park, be a regular kid, go to the park, play some baseball, play kickball. So I was very, athletic, as in I can keep up with every sport that I played in.
Hmm.
So like this was kind of, I can say 6 months into it, I got my first match.
Okay.
So
And
no wrestling background or anything though.
were you committed to wear the mask from the get-go? Was that part of the deal that you were going to be the luchador and bring the lucha libre to the combat sports capital?
Uh, I want to say yes, because I saw, like I said, I saw my mariachi loco guy, and I loved his mask. So I was like, I was like, if I want to become a wrestler, I want to be a luchador. Cause my culture, like I want to be a part
Hmm.
of that. That's what I grew up first watching. Which this guy named Octagon. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him, but he's sort of like a ninja
Sure.
based character. Yeah.
In AAA.
Yes. So
Hmm.
he was the one that caught my eye at first. So I was like, the mask. And then I started seeing Blue Demon, El Santos, you got Rey Mysterio's mask, you got Ricochet's, you got like, there's so many people that have nice masks.
Yeah. Let's see if I can get it in the picture. Right behind me. There you go.
Oh, Penta.
Penta Alzira Mira.
Yeah,
Got a
I
mask
think,
right there.
I think I got the same mask. Is that white and silver?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
got,
The old one
I,
of the old white and silver masks for Penta.
yeah, I got the same one because I used to be a mask collector.
Okay.
Well, still am, but.
Have you ever gone to Penta's store, the Lucha Republic?
I haven't. I'm trying to wrestle out there, so when I'm out there, kind of take that little drive to the store.
Hmm.
I did go to the Lucha Expo. Uh,
Okay.
was it 2 years ago or something? The last one that they had in San Diego, but the store wasn't open at the time.
Oh, okay. Well,
But
hey, just to click through a few things you got to do.
hey, yeah,
The Lucha Libre halftime show. That's pretty neat.
it was phenomenal. All the fans that we had there, I get chills just thinking about it still.
So it was halftime during the soccer match. Is that right?
Yeah, so we had two matches pre-show, and then we had two matches halftime. I
And
was
that
part
was
of
in
halftime.
in conjunction with our friend Ricky Tenacious and Big Valley Wrestling.
Yeah, Want to shout out to Ricky for having me there. Thank you, Ricky.
Yeah, very neat because you're tying in a couple of really strong cultural influences, right?
Yeah,
The football and the lucha libre, getting them together.
yeah. That was it was nice. It was nice being there, and then being part of the we call it la porra, like the where they have the music going and all that.
Hmm.
Just being a part of that was so amazing.
Yeah, no, no, definitely a fun experience. And then, like I referenced just recently,
Hey,
got to get on the local TV, the local Telemundo.
yes, sir.
Yeah, how did that go? I mean, it's great to get a little exposure and get the community behind you because I think people are still just as your evidence of just finding out about all of the independent wrestling that's going on in communities now.
Yeah, being on Telemundo was just another experience. It was like just live action. It was like, hey, we're gonna do this, and here we go. There's no cuts in, like you mess up, you mess up. But
Hmm.
it was nice. They treated us very well there, very well. Kept and just being part of the local news to show that Vegas has actual wrestling in town. Like you said, a lot of people don't know about it yet. So when they saw us, they were taking pictures and they're like, "Hey, where's the next show?" Just asking all these questions, which was, it's great being part of that,
Hmm.
letting people know, like, "Hey, there is wrestling in Vegas, or lucha libre, or however you want to see it, but there is, wrestling here."
Yeah, a huge weekend coming up too, Memorial Day weekend. You have the AEW pay-per-view, but there's also 10, 15 different independent wrestling shows going on around it. Really like a WrestleMania weekend where all the major independent companies are coming in. GCW is going to be in Las Vegas for the weekend. Of course, FSW is having a show, Big Valley Wrestling versus Dark Arts. Ben Hall's doing a show. I mean, it's really just every independent promotion that you think of in Las Vegas, they're going. How does that feel to be
It
part of
feels
that experience with the whole city really wrapping its arms around pro wrestling for a weekend?
Yeah, it feels good because it's all about wrestling that weekend. So you have stars from like the East Coast, the West Coast, up in the North and South, just coming into one town to promote themselves and show what they've been working so hard for, to have that opportunity to be in front of a couple of fans or a big crowd, just to show what they've been working on, and then maybe get exposure for WWE,
Hmm.
AEW, New Japan, or whatever they can get their hands in.
Sure. What promotions have you been able to wrestle in so far?
Here
And
in
we're
Vegas.
oh, no, just in total, because now we're in what, year three for your
Yeah,
career? Yeah,
it's funny 'cause I have a list on my phone. I think I've done at least 14 promotions or so.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
most of them been in California though. I've done
Okay.
I've done California, Arizona, Utah, here of course. I was gonna get lucky enough to do Oregon, but at the time I ended up getting COVID, so that kind of,
Uh,
yeah. But I'm still shooting my shots to try to get out there.
hmm. What have been some of the biggest matches you've had so far?
Ooh, biggest matches. Sheesh. I think every match is pretty big for me because being a little small person,
Sure, yeah.
whoever I get in the ring with, it's just if I get that little spark with them, it just makes it so fun for me.
Well, speaking of that, being the smaller wrestler, the tag team that you've been able to have is really pretty interesting. Going up there with the big hype, Duke Lawrence. So
Yes.
how does that come about? You got the Lucha Libre and the big powerhouse tagging together. That's quite a contrast to styles.
Yeah. So the way that me and him started was we both started off at Versus. Well, I started at Big Valley Wrestling, but
Yeah,
some stuff happened that they had to close down because of COVID.
sure.
So I ended up going to Versus, And a couple weeks later, I want to say, or months, Duke ended up showing up, and I was like, "Oh, damn, I'm gonna have to wrestle this guy." So I was like, okay." So we ended up started training with our trainer was the Shade at the time.
Okay.
We were in the ring with him. I don't want to say every Monday through Friday. It was just me, Duke, and Shade, and yeah, we just meshed together real quick, like, and real nice. It was just like he knows how to he knows how to base for me, and I know how to take moves from him. So it was kind of just like, that tag team partner that you want to have is kind of like he knows your insides and outs. So
Sure.
it was more of that. And then one day out of nowhere, I was like, hey, they want me to tag with somebody, and who else do I want? 6'7", 6'6", or whatever he is. I was like, you can be the muscle.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just started here and there, and then California was our spot, man, for the pack. And then we brought it here, kind of fell off a little bit, but you never know. Hey, we might come back.
Now, have you ever been able to get Duke to do a 619?
No, 619, no, but he does do like a springboard, handstand springboard, and then
Okay.
stuff off the top rope. I kind of, we had to push him, and be like, hey, come on, you can do it.
Well, he's got a lot of agility for his size,
Yes,
but I'm not sure if the ropes could hold that.
I mean, hopefully, but he's very athletic. I'll give him
Hmm.
that for a big guy. He's very athletic.
Well, and that's a good contrast of styles, like you said. So you get a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
Now, I was looking around and just doing a little research, and I saw that you did have a chance to work with one of the people who considers himself to be one of the best pro wrestlers in the world right now, pretty
Whoa.
Peter Avalon himself.
Yeah, that was at D6.
What can you learn from some of the some, and all joking aside, pretty Peter Avalon is a really good pro wrestler and has had plenty of time on AEW, plenty of time on United Wrestling Network. What can you learn from people that have climbed to those higher levels? How much can working with a Peter Avalon for a couple of days do to help you out?
So he's very humble. So any question I had to ask him, or any kind of insight that I needed, he was there to answer and just let me know, like, hey, just work a little bit harder on this, get your character going, and this, it's just he very good. He was a very I was a sponge, I want to say, with his knowledge of how to interact in the ring with the fans and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just interesting to see that community sense and people working together and everybody trying to pick people up. And it's surprising when you go to different independent wrestling shows who you might see, because you'll see nationally prominent wrestlers on independent shows all over the country and especially in Las Vegas, because there's so many wrestlers that live in Las Vegas and travel through. You're going to have the just recently the Impact Tag Team Champions are going to be wrestling against the FSW Tag Team Champions here coming up. And
Huh?
Alexander Hammerstone, your MLW Heavyweight Champion, shows up all the time. Chris Bay. It's really it's a unique atmosphere that you have that interaction between the wrestlers.
Yeah, and it's good that they're like, most of the guys that you name, they're very humble. So any
Hmm.
question like us new upcomers have for them, they're very like, they'll put us aside and just be like, hey, this is what helped me. It might help you. Like, it's very nice to be a part of like that culture where everybody's just giving you knowledge and helping you out. Because we all want to get somewhere, with this.
Sure. So now, where do you see yourself going in the next year? We're coming up to the third quarter. Well, yeah, we're winding down the second quarter of the year, coming up to the third quarter of the year. Where do
Yeah.
you see 2023 taking you?
Um, I hope it takes me just to be on like AEW Dark, or just something small. I'm not. I love this business. Don't get me wrong, but
Hmm.
I do have kids and
Yeah.
stuff like that, so it's kind of. Um, my priority is my kids and my family. So if I can get just here and there places,
Sure.
I'm grateful for that. So I'm a little bit older as well, so
Yeah.
I don't think how can I put it? My body won't probably keep up as much no more. Like all these other young upcoming like Bodie, you got
Sure.
Bodie, you got a lot of people from FSW that are coming up.
Hmm.
Those guys, like I can see them going somewhere.
Yeah. Like a Bodie's got an easy 15 or 20 more years of pounding, and he'll be okay. But
Yeah,
yeah, you start getting close to the 30 mark. It starts getting a little bit more difficult to shake off those matches, doesn't it?
yeah. I could definitely say yeah to that one.
Now, what's a week like for you then? How much time do you have to commit to being the luchador?
um, so I mean, right now, like you know, I'm a father first. The luchador comes second to me.
Hmm.
So I have it whenever I'm at mostly I'm at Versus.
Yeah.
That's my home. So whenever Versus has a show, I'm there. If
Okay.
like this week I'm going to Utah. The following week I'll be at Versus. Uh, so like it's there. Uh, Here and there the luchador.
Yeah. How much time do you have to put into working out to be able to just get through the matches?
Um, pretty much. I mean, it's a lot of high flying stuff that I'm trying to do. So I got to put in that work just to
Hmm.
get some of that stuff in there.
Yeah, I mean it's not easy. If people who haven't gone in there, even if you haven't wrestled an amateur match, which obviously not many people have gotten in and wrestled a professional match, but just wrestling an amateur match, you have no idea how hard it is to drag somebody's body weight for a few minutes,
Yeah,
let alone do it for 10 or 15 minutes.
yeah. When I started, I was a little bit on the heavy side. So every like 5 minutes, I was like already gassed out.
Yeah,
I was, oh, and I still got more to go. That's pretty hard, man. I mean, it just not even just being a luchador, being a wrestler as well. It's just putting in that time so you can get your stuff in, the stuff that you want to learn, the stuff that you already know,
sure.
and get it in a match.
No, totally understand because it's a matter of getting everything coordinated too. And if you haven't had a chance to do a lot of moves in advance, it's got to be even harder. I mean, you want to be careful before you do a 450 splash. You want to make sure you land it, right?
Yeah, I've been in that situation where I trying to show off, spike myself in the head, and just yeah,
Yeah, that's not good.
no. But that's just me being dumb in the ring.
So, how much, I don't know what the question would be. How much practice do you put in before you try a new move? Because you are doing the flips off the top rope. You're trying to do a lot of the lucha libre inspired high flying moves. How much coordination do you try to put into that? How much practice? How much mat work? With maybe a big mat behind you to kind of break the fall so you can practice it. Or are you just going out there and saying, "Hey, I think I can do this. Let's go."
Oh no,
No. Okay.
never that. Yeah, never that. Nobody needs
Yeah.
to do that.
Don't try
But
this at home.
no,
Yeah.
I put in some practice in. Like mostly, like I told you, Duke's my base,
Uh huh.
as we call it. So if me and Duke can get in the ring, I'm like, hey Duke, I want to try this, and I trust him to not let me fall on my neck.
Mm-hmm.
So me and him get our stuff in, and then we look at video and be like, okay, we gotta fix it here. Then we do it again. Oh wait, there's a little stuff right here. Let's fix it there. And I keep trying it until I actually get it right, and then I'm like, okay, I think I'm good. And then next day of practice, try it again one more time. But you always want to keep practicing the moves that you're gonna hit in the ring because you never know. You need to learn how to land. You need to learn how to get everything there.
Sure. Yeah. Falling and landing is probably the most important part.
Yes.
True. Well, hey, let's go into the championship round here. Got the LVWS confidential belt for you. Kind of wind it down with a few quick ones.
All right.
What's your favorite move?
My favorite move.
Either that you do or that you've seen done.
I like Vikingo's like triple spin or the upside down one, the one that he does. I don't know what it's called, but most of the stuff that he does, I don't really know what it's called. He just does it. And I'm
No,
like,
he's amazing. I got to see him in person for his first AEW match against Kenny Omega,
nah,
and he hit the 630 outside of the ring onto a table. It's just incredible.
yeah. See stuff like that, like Commander, the walking down the rope to the other side bounce, like stuff like that. Like that stuff gets me going. Like, oh crap! Like I want to hit that, but no.
Yeah, well, I guess to be fair, there's a reason why Vikingo and Commander's moves, when you see him, you go, oh my God, wow. There's
Yeah.
a reason they do that because nobody else has done them.
Right.
I mean, really just incredible the amount of athleticism that goes into that. So goes into the next question. Dream opponent. Would Vikingo be one of your dream opponents?
Yeah. Honestly, anybody from AAA, from the CMLL, just just anybody that's a luchador in Mexico would be my dream match. Rey Mysterio, of course,
Sure.
being the same height as him almost, and him bringing lucha to America, which him and Psicosis at the time, like yeah, all those guys.
Well, and the chairman, La Parca,
Yeah, La Parca, LA Park,
who's still going.
yeah, Conan, Vampiro, all those guys.
Now, do you feel obligated to continue the tradition of lucha libre? Do you feel a sense of responsibility putting a mask on because it is a unique tradition, a unique style in pro wrestling?
Do I feel obligated? Not really, but I do wish a lot of like all these upcoming lucha people that actually want to wear a mask for them to keep it going. Just I do want to be like a how can I say like a stepping stone kind of like just people seeing me be like if he can do it, I should be able to do it, and then just be that little ball that makes everything rolling.
Sure.
If I can help out with that, I'm grateful for that.
Great, because the mask has so much tradition and so much respect and honor. I think it's really great that, like Penta, you never see him without his mask on. He's on the sideline of the San Francisco 49ers games. He's wearing his mask.
Yeah, I honestly, I wear when I go out places, I don't wear the mask because I don't want the attention. Because then they're like, oh, But I do
Sure.
wear like a little, what is it called? Like a little scarf thing with just
Uh
this
huh.
open. And people be like, why you wear that? Like people ain't gonna know it's you. I was like, dude, I got tattoos. As soon as I take that off, people see me, they're gonna be like, oh, that's that guy. And I want to keep that tradition where kayfabe, I guess. I
Yeah,
want,
you want to keep the mystery going.
yeah, because when you see it's like if you would see Pentagon and then he takes his mask off backstage and you see them, it'll be kind of a like not a disappointment, but you're like, damn, that mystery, it's gone,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Sure.
So
No,
I
absolutely.
I try to keep that still. Hopefully it sticks.
No, that's great. And hey, just a final question. What's next coming up for Principe Leon?
I just want to get my name out there in different states. I want to see if I can hit all 50 states
Okay.
before I kind of slow down a little bit, and if possible, maybe AEW Dark, man.
All right.
Try to let people know who I am.
Sure. That's a great goal. Hey, thanks for stepping into the ring with us and joining us here. We'll be sure to keep a lookout for you and watch you bringing a little lucha libre to Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Sure.